Out here at Ferreira Memorial Cemetery out on the north side of Jacksonville once again, and I'm kind of on a mission out here today. I do have a few kin people that's buried out here, and nothing real direct, but what I'm looking for out here today is for the grave of Shorty Medlock. Let me get away from the road here. I got some barking dogs next door. Now, over here, I thought Danny was buried somewhere else. This is John D. Piver and Maud H. Piver. Now, John D. was Danny Piver, and he was a friend of my grandfather's, and I knew him very well. He worked part-time for the city health department, where I worked for a short period of time. And Danny was a good old feller. But anyway, like I say, I'm out here today looking for the grave of Shorty Medlock. Now, I was out here when I first found Shorty's grave out here. Was probably, Lord, I don't know, maybe even a dozen years ago or so. And to the best of my knowledge, he was buried right here in this spot right here. Now, I may be wrong. I get mixed up and turned around a little bit sometimes. But when I discovered his grave out here, I was surprised, because this is Dunn's Creek Baptist Church Cemetery. And I didn't know that Shorty had any connections out here any kind of way with Dunn's Creek Baptist Church. Now, I don't know exactly when this became the Dunn's Creek Baptist Church Cemetery, or under their supervision. But anyway, it was a discovery for me to find him out here. Now, I came back a couple of years ago and looked, and I could not find Shorty's marker. And like I say, to the best of my memory, it was right here in this area, and I'm kind of scanning. For those of you who don't know who Shorty Medlock was, Shorty Medlock was the maternal grandfather of Ricky Medlock of Leonard Skinner and Blackfoot fame. Now, Shorty was Ricky's maternal grandfather. Ricky's took the name Medlock, but he was born a Green, and actually, from what I found out recently, is actually a distant cousin of mine. Like I say, my recollection was he was buried right in here. Now, Shorty was a blues musician, and he probably didn't get the fame he deserved, but he was a songwriter, played the banjo, the dobro, wrote songs. He wrote the song for Blackfoot, Train Train, which is actually one of my all-time favorite songs. I would play it for this video if I wouldn't get in trouble with YouTube over copyright, because it's a good song. It's an inspirational and a drive song. But he never got the recognition actually until the Skinner and Blackfoot fame that he really justly deserved. He was actually the inspiration. Ronnie Van Zant wrote the song Curtis Lowe, for any of you that know Skinner music. And actually that song was written with Shorty Medlock in mind. He was the inspiration for that song. Now I'm going to walk around and I'm going to look and see if maybe I was wrong about the positioning of where he was at. But Ricky may have moved him from out here to somewhere else. I know a few years ago Dunn's Creek Church got in some financial problems and had the audacity to write people letters and want people to pay for the right to be buried here, even though they had already been buried here. So Ricky may have had them exhumed and may have moved them to another spot. But we're going to look for him today in our walking around. Now, like I say, I have got friends and relatives buried out here. And actually, right here is Bobby Jerry Cawley. Now, Jerry Cawley was a friend, and he had a little ranch, I guess you'd call it, farm, next to my uncle's and his daddy's place. Now, Lyle Shefferdeck Sr. is buried up here. I've talked about him before, and I'll go over that again here in a few minutes. But Jerry passed away about 3 years ago, but Jerry was a good old boy. His wife Marlene is still around. I haven't talked to any of them in a while. They had 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. Now there's some Greens buried out here with a E on the end of their name. I don't recognize any of them. Now there are a few Williamses buried out here. And you'll kind of have to excuse me as I'm rambling. I'm kind of scanning as we go along for the Shorty's grave. So anyway, it's a beautiful little cemetery out here, and I'm not sure exactly when this cemetery was founded exactly. I didn't look on Find a Grave prior to coming out here, but it's not a real old cemetery. There may be some older graves in here. Now over here is the Shepherdex. Now, this is the father of my Uncle Lyle Shepherdex Jr. He was married to my mother's sister, Jean Davidson Shepherdex. And Lyle Sr. passed away, well, must have been in 2019, because he was just short of being 100 years old. Now, he was married to Catherine Haddock Kitty, who died back in 1997. I done a lot of work for them when I was a boy, and they paid me really well to cut their grass and take care of some of their other work around there. I helped him bring in hay and blow stumps out and all kinds of stuff. And I could go over there and work for the weekend, and they'd pay me $20 or $25 for coming out there and helping them for the weekend. I was young. This was back in the early 70s. And $20 or $25 was a lot of money. You could fill your tank up with gas, and you could go out to eat with your girlfriend and go see a movie and still have money left over when you got through. Now, buried next to them is John Melton, and well, John's still alive, excuse me. This is Melanie, their daughter, Lyle Jr.'s sister, and Daniel, their son, who passed away at the age of 13, I think he was. Passed away at a young age. He was a friend of my nephew Chris. But Lyle Sr., spoke about him once before when we were down at Eubank Cemetery. When Lyle Sr. was in the military during World War II, he was a marksman. He was a good shot. He taught my brother how to shoot. I shot with him a bunch when I was younger. But he was such an excellent marksman that the Army sent him to Burma during World War II to train the troops there how to shoot. So, now, like I say, there's some Hickenbottoms buried out here. You'll hear a lot of names today that you've heard before. Now, there's an area right through here that there's a lot of children. And the nickname for this little spot is Babyland. And like I say, there's a lot of young infants that are buried here. But there's some bar fields that are buried out here. Now, I'm going to look and see if this is the bar field I was thinking about now. That right there would be Johnny Barfield and his son, I guess. But Johnny Barfield went to prison years ago for the a murder conspiracy years ago. Johnny owned a paving company, and I forget exactly what the story was, but anyway, supposedly he was behind the murder of some people, and he was convicted and went to prison for quite some time over it. So still kind of scanning around for the Shorty Medlock grave. There's quite a few graves out here. I'm not sure, but just guessing. I don't know, there's probably 300 graves out here, maybe more. I know as we walk back to this back area, back here, there's some some of the older graves back in this corner. Oh, like I say, I'm still kind of looking as we go, even though, like I say, I'm pretty sure Shorty was buried up there where we stopped earlier, and I would think, but I wanted to make sure. He is still on the find a grave site as being buried out here. Maybe the person that registered him on Find a Grave may not still be alive, or may not keep up with things, and he may just be still on there by default, so to speak. We're just going to make, like I say, a trip around here. But I recognize a lot of names down here. If I run across them, I'll make a comment. Now, there's a William Bud Swearingen. Now, the Swearingens owned a gas station up in Ocean Way, a Sunoco station. It was one of the few places that you could go and get white gas. Now, white gas was a high octane gas that Sunoco had, and it was used for a lot of different things. Can't buy it no more as far as I know, I guess. But I know you could substitute white gas for the Coleman fuel. But my grandfather had several Coleman burners, and that's all he ever used in it. He never bought the Coleman fuel. He always went and got white gas for doing stuff. Now, There's a Stafford buried out here. Now, we've been over the Stafford family before, and one day I want to go in depth about the Stafford family. And actually, some of the Williamses, I was on my genealogy site last night, and sometimes I just go off in directions and look, and not only on the site that I use to use is your research is on there, but other people's research is on there as well. And I found some interesting stuff on the Williams side of the family. Well, they came from Wales, but way back on one side of the family, they actually, some of them came from Israel, which would have made them Jewish in heritage. Now, we're talking about a bunch of generations in the past, but it was just very, very interesting, and I won't do a spoiler on it, so that's all I'll say about that. Of course, the Staffords go back to the time of Henry VIII and before, back to William the Conqueror. I come out here a while back and on Find a Grave, for any of you that's never been on it or used it. They frequently ask for photographs of different graves. People do request. And if it's one that's out here close to where I'm at, I'll go out and take a picture and post it. Some curries. I'm not sure, but I'm going to say that those curries were, looking at the dates on there, probably brothers or cousins to Johnny Curry, my uncle that was married to one of my grandfather's sisters. It's kind of weird the way they've got some of the stuff out here. Some of the graves, the stones are facing east, and some of them are facing west. Now, the east and west facing of the graves, of course, comes from the Christians. The Christians started a tradition of burying people facing the east, which is the way the sun rises, and the Son of Man, I don't know whether it actually says this in the Bible, but be a good research project for me sometime. That anyway, theoretically, Jesus will rise or come back to earth in the east. Prior to that, with the pagans, they done more of a north and south burial. Of course, I don't know that it matters much, and if we could go into the whole burial and cremation thing. I'm not sure that cremation makes a difference. Now, this is called Ferreira Cemetery. There was a family that lived down here, the Ferreira family. They had a pretty good piece of land down by the river, and they had peacocks that run wild down here. And I mean, there was peacocks all over the place. It wasn't nothing to come down here and see or hear peacocks at any time of the day, but at night you could hear them peacocks wailing. And it was pretty at times, and it was actually haunting at times. Still kind of searching for the Shorty Medlock as we're going along. And if he's not buried out here, I would like to know where he is buried. I would like to go out and pay a visit and see where he's at. He's not out here anymore. He might be over on the west side, over there where most of the Skinnerd group is buried. One day I am going to go out there and go to the Van Zants and the graves. Also in that same cemetery I have several really good friends, and my uncle Jess Rowell is buried there. My Aunt Min Rowell is buried there. But it is a huge cemetery. It's on both sides of Normandy Boulevard out there, and we're talking about a cemetery that's where there's 1,000 plus graves. I would hate to estimate how many graves are in there. Now, there's the grave of Robert Newton Murray. He was born November of 1956, died in July of 1977, barely 21 years of age. Went to school with Bobby Murray, and we're good friends. He went to work for WWII, had a good job with him, and ended up getting himself electrocuted on one of the WWII power lines. So I've done a pretty good scan down here, and like I say, I do not see Shorty's grave. And like I say, I would have bet the farm that he was up there where we first stopped. Now, like I say, sometimes I forget and misplace people, forget where they're at. But that one I would have, like I say, bet the farm on where that one was up. But I thought I would come out here today and see, give it one more look, see if I can find it. Like I say, he was, may not be true now, but at the time he was referred to as the oldest rock and roller at the time, even though his background was in blues music. The southern rock movement of the 70s was a blend of folk, blues, jazz, and rock and roll. And you don't hear much music today on the radio, or hear a lot of rap music. Now, here again, don't get me wrong. Rap music has its place, I guess. But I'm not a big fan. It takes talent to do what they do. But it's not musical talent. It's speaking talent. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't variations with some of the hip-hop stuff and other genres, but rap, in my opinion, is pretty much just anti-social screaming, complaining, and bitching. And we all have a right to do that. Here again, I don't deny anybody their right to speak their mind or express themselves however they want to. It is just not for me. I like jazz, I like blues, I like country, and I like classical rock, southern rock. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is where Shorty was buried, and Ricky has had him moved to another location. And like I say, it would not surprise me that when Dunn's Creek Church sent out them letters to people wanting them to pay for people that were already buried here, that Ricky didn't come out here and just say, well, you know what, they might come around again and try and want to get money again. And it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't move him. But this is the former resting place of Shorty Medlock. You can go online to find a grave and put in Shorty Medlock, M-E-D-L-O-C-K. Now the E was added in a lot of stuff, especially the promotional stuff, but on his stone it had the original M-E-D-L-O-C-K. And you'll see that he is listed as being in this cemetery, and this is where he was at. So with that, we're going to call it another day. Now tomorrow I'm going to go up to Trader's Hill. I'm going to leave early. I've mentioned Trader's Hill at least 100 times in my videos. We're going to go up there and find the marker up there, and we're going to go up to Trader's Hill Cemetery. But I'm going to kind of give the background to Trader's Hill and why it was there and what it was all about. Not only go to the cemetery, but do some background on Trader's Hill itself. So once again, I appreciate you people coming to my channel and spending a little bit of time with me out here looking at people that are no longer with us, and other times just learning a little bit about history. So once again, I ask you to like and subscribe, comment, and y'all have a great day, and God bless y'all now.